All right, Kinslayers, it's time for a deep dive into customizing your leader.
Yeah, this is where the game really shines.
For sure. It's not just about picking a pre-made character. You create your own leader from scratch
Yeah,
and build your warband around them.
exactly. You have so much freedom to build a legend by making choices for your leader that shape how they fight.
And their story within the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Like, how much control do we actually have over creating our leader?
Well, think about it this way. You get to choose your leader's race.
Okay.
Imagine their backstory. Really get into who they are.
Right.
Define their personality. And then, after all that, you get to fine-tune their skills and magical abilities.
Wow.
It's like you're bringing a character from your own imagination to life in the game world.
That's awesome. And speaking of race, how many options are there?
You have 10 distinct races to choose from,
10.
each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses to consider.
So like a towering orc warlord leading a horde of, savage warriors would play very differently from, say, a nimble elven scout commanding archers from the shadows.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just about aesthetics.
Definitely not. It has a huge impact on your strategy.
Right, from the start.
Right. And that strategic depth gets even deeper with the favors and flaws system.
Ooh, okay. Favors and flaws. That sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Well, think of favors like powerful advantages your leader has.
Okay, like what?
Like enhanced resilience against magic,
Yeah.
or the ability to heal quickly, or maybe a knack for inspiring their troops. You get one favor for free when you create your leader.
Okay, that makes sense.
But here's where it gets interesting. If you want to choose a second favor, you have to accept a flaw as well.
Ooh, a trade-off. I like that. You don't want players just loading up their leaders with all the best stuff.
Exactly. It's all about balance.
So what are some examples of these flaws? What makes a character flawed?
Flaws represent those quirks or weaknesses, the things that make your leader more human. Or Orcish, whatever their race may be.
Sure.
Like maybe they're old, which slows their movement, or maybe reckless, which could lead to some risky tactical decisions.
So it's really about strategic thinking, weighing those vulnerabilities against the potential advantage of a second favor.
Precisely. It makes you think, is that vulnerability worth the extra power?
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered race, favors, and flaws. What else is there?
Well, there's also form. This system lets you customize your leader's combat style even further.
Oh, cool. So how does that work?
You get to choose specific effects for both their melee weapons and their ranged weapons. So for melee, you could have reach. That extends your weapon's range.
Yeah, I can see how that would be useful in close combat.
Definitely. Or maybe you prefer knockback, which lets you push enemies away, create space, disrupts their formations.
So even within a certain fighting style, there are all these different approaches you can take.
Exactly. And it's the same with ranged weapons. You could equip your leader with Throw Dagger, which has a chance to poison their target.
Nasty.
Right. Or if you prefer raw power, you could go with Hurl Boulder.
Okay. Less finesse, more smash. So you choose one of those options for melee and one for ranged.
And on top of all that, you also get to choose a unique ability for your leader, like First Strike, so they always attack first in combat, or wall climbing, allowing them to scale any terrain, for those tactical maneuvers.
So many choices. It's like creating a character for a role-playing game.
Yeah, it has that feel.
But with a wargaming twist. So we've talked about race, favors, flaws, and form. But what about magic?
Magic. This is where it gets really fun. Each leader chooses one of the 6 schools of magic.
6 schools. So it's not just a generic magic user?
No. Each school is very distinct. They each have their own unique approach to combat and strategy.
Gotcha. So what are the 6 schools?
Light, shadow, fire, earth, water, and air.
Wow. That's a lot of variety. So I imagine a fire mage would be all about unleashing some serious destruction.
Exactly. But a water mage might focus more on controlling the battlefield, manipulating the flow of the elements, It's about choosing a style that fits your strategic vision.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm already getting excited about building my own leader, but I have to admit, all this customization seems a little daunting.
Well, if it feels like too much, you can always start with a template.
Oh, templates. So there are pre-designed leaders we can choose from.
Exactly. They come with set stats, abilities, a pre-selected magic school, even a bit of backstory to get you started.
So it's like a good starting point, but I can still customize it?
Of course. You can tweak things, personalize the backstory, experiment a bit. It's a great way to get a feel for the game and see how different leader archetypes play out.
That makes sense. So whether you're a seasoned strategist or just starting out, there's a path for everyone in Kinslayers.
Absolutely. It's all about finding what works for you and having fun. But before we go too deep on templates, I think we should explore these 6 magic schools a little more.
Yeah, let's hear about the different types of magical mayhem we can unleash.
All right, so you ready to really get into the magic of Kinslayer?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tell me about these 6 schools of magic. I want to hear how they impact the game and, like, what kind of strategic advantages they offer.
Okay, well, first let's talk about fire magic.
Yep.
It's all about raw power, like aggressive tactics.
Yeah, I can see that.
Picture your leader engulfing their enemies in like a raging inferno.
Ooh, scary.
Or summoning fiery explosions to decimate whole squads of enemies. It's a spectacle, for sure. But you gotta remember, fire can be unpredictable.
Right. Destructive to your own troops, too, if you're not careful.
Exactly.
So how does water magic compare to that? Like, how is it different from, all that fiery fury?
Well, if fire is like untamed power, water is more about control.
Okay.
Manipulation. A water mage can freeze parts of the battlefield.
Create treacherous footing for their enemies.
Yeah.
Or even summon these huge walls of water to redirect enemy movement. Really mess with their plans.
Ooh, I like that. Using the environment as a weapon. That sounds pretty strategic.
It is. For players who enjoy that more thoughtful, chess-like approach to combat.
Makes sense. What about earth magic? What can you do with that?
Earth magic. Well, it's all about resilience, fortitude, that unwavering strength.
Yeah, I can see that.
Imagine your leader summoning walls of rock to bolster their defenses.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe even encasing themselves in stone armor.
Oh, that's cool. Like an immovable object.
Exactly. An earth mage is a steadfast defender. They can weather any storm.
That's awesome. Okay, so what about air magic then? How's that different?
Air magic is about speed, agility, precision. Yeah. It's harnessing the power of the winds themselves.
I like it.
So you could imagine your leader buffeting their own troops with, like, favorable winds.
Okay, to make them faster. Or maybe unleashing lightning-fast strikes that just leave their enemies reeling.
So an air mage would be super mobile then.
Yeah.
Zipping around the battlefield.
Yeah, always staying one step ahead.
Cool. So we've heard about fire, water, earth, air. That leaves light and shadow. What can you tell me about those?
Light and shadow magic.
2 sides of the same coin, perhaps.
Exactly. Each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so first, light magic. What's so special about that?
Well, light magic is often associated with healing, protection, banishing darkness.
Classic good guy stuff.
Yeah, it's a good choice if you see your leader as like a beacon of hope.
Yeah.
A true champion of righteousness. So picture this. Your leader bathes their allies in this radiant aura that heals their wounds.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe they conjure up shimmering barriers of light to deflect enemy attacks.
So a light mage is like a classic hero, protecting the innocent from the forces of evil.
Right. Now, shadow magic, on the other hand, is a bit different. It's often linked to manipulation. Deception, wielding the powers of darkness for their own ends.
Sounds a little more morally ambiguous.
It is, but it's not necessarily about being evil. So it's more about using those shadowy forces strategically. So you could imagine your leader shrouding themselves in darkness to become invisible.
Oh, that's cool. Sneaky.
Yeah, or maybe they strike fear into their enemies' hearts.
Ooh. Psychological warfare. I dig it.
Exactly. It makes them hesitate, falter. It gives you a real advantage.
I'm really starting to see how these magic schools can lead to such diverse play styles. This is awesome.
It is. And remember, in Kinslayers, there aren't hard and fast rules about, good and evil.
Right.
Or how you should play your leader.
Yeah.
It's about making choices, weaving your own story. It's all up to you.
That's what I love about this game. So much freedom to be creative and strategic.
Yeah.
Like you said before, you're not just playing a character, you're creating a legend.
And that brings us back to the importance of player customization.
Yeah.
From race, abilities, flaws, to mastering magic and really fine-tuning that combat style, Kinslayers really puts you in control.
It's like you're crafting this unique narrative.
Yeah.
Bringing your personal vision to life.
Right. And with these 6 schools of magic, the possibilities are just endless.
Yeah. So many different paths to explore, new tactics to try, and new stories to tell on the battlefield.
Exactly. So what about you? What kind of leader are you starting to imagine?
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm still processing all these options. My head is spinning.
it's a lot to take in.
But I can tell you I'm already thinking about epic battles, cunning strategies, a leader whose legend will be remembered for ages.
And that's what Kinslayers is all about. It ignites that spark of creativity, that desire to explore and experiment,
Yeah,
to craft a legend that's really all your own.
for sure. But before we get too lost in our daydreams, I think we should circle back to those templates we talked about. They seem like a good way to get started, especially for players who might feel overwhelmed by all the choices.
Yeah, you're right. Templates are a fantastic way to ease into the world of Kinslayers, learn the ropes.
Okay, let's dive into those templates then and see what they're all about. So, we've covered a ton of ground on customizing leaders in Kinslayers, all those options, favors, flaws, magic schools. It's really amazing how much freedom you have. But now I'm curious to hear more about these templates. They sound like a good entry point for players, if they don't want to start from scratch.
Yeah, definitely. Templates offer a more streamlined approach. They give you a solid foundation to build from. So you get a pre-designed leader, stats are already set, magic school is chosen for you, even a little backstory to spark some ideas.
So it's like I'm getting a blueprint, but I can still kind of make it my own.
Exactly. Think of it like a pre-furnished house. You can move in right away and start enjoying it, but you can also, rearrange the furniture, repaint, add your own personal touches to make it feel like home.
I like that analogy. So even though I'm starting with a template, I can still customize their backstory, maybe tweak the appearance, experiment with equipment.
Oh, absolutely. The template is just a starting point, a way to get you comfortable with the mechanics, see how different leaders work. Once you're ready, you can dive in and get creative.
That makes me feel better. It sounds like templates aren't just for new players either. Could be helpful for, more experienced players who just want to try out different play styles or experiment with new combinations of abilities.
Absolutely. Templates are a great way to step outside your comfort zone, test out new strategies, and maybe discover some new ways to approach the game.
It really does seem like Kinslayers has something for everyone. Whether you're a hardcore strategist or just want to have some fun, there's a place for you.
That's what's so great about this game. It really caters to a wide range of playstyles, and it always encourages you to be creative, think strategically, and just enjoy building something unique.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I've got to say I'm really impressed by how deep and flexible the leader creation is in Kinslayers. Choosing their race, their background, shaping their abilities, magic, even their flaws. It's a super engaging process.
And don't forget, each choice you make has real consequences on the battlefield. So whether you're starting from scratch or using a template, every decision matters.
Yeah, it's like you're conducting this grand symphony of war, and your leader is the conductor, guiding their troops, unleashing their magic, changing the course of history.
That's a great way to put it. So as you get started with Kinslayers, remember this. Your leader's story is yours to tell. Explore the possibilities, experiment, have fun, and forge a legend that'll be remembered.
Well said. And to our listeners, we leave you with one final thought. What kind of leader will you create? What mark will they leave on the world of Anduin? Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying, keep those dice rolling, and keep diving deep into the worlds that inspire you.